Just imagine the vibrant, seemingly innocent world of the Disney animated universe is actually packed with interconnected, dark clues. The theory we're discussing today might be something many of you have already heard, or perhaps something that makes you think, "Are you kidding me?" No need to beat around the bush. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. I'd really appreciate it. But before diving into the video, I must point out that this is just a theory, meaning we can't say it's 100% true. At first glance, they seem like two completely unrelated movies, right? One tells the story of two royal sisters in a frozen kingdom, while the other follows a wild man raised by gorillas in the African jungle. However, animation directors and producers love dropping massive Easter eggs that they assume the audience will miss. One of the biggest is the Grand Pixar theory. Frankly, it's the most intriguing theory in this field for me, and today's topic might even be a part of it. Let's pause here and ask our first question. When the King and Queen of Arendelle set out on a secret sea voyage to find a way to control Elsa's powers, where were they actually heading right before their ship sank? This very question might be the bridge connecting the two movies. Chris Buck, one of the directors of Frozen, answered this years later during a fan Q&A. The King and Queen are lost in a massive storm at sea, right? According to the official canon, the ship sinks and they die. But Chris Buck says, no, the ship didn't sink. The King and Queen survived the storm. Nah. Pay attention to this detail. The Queen, who was pregnant, gave birth to a baby boy after the shipwreck. Yes, a baby boy. And who is this baby? Tarzan, of course. You might say, come on, how do you get from the middle of the ocean to the jungles of Africa? The question is, after drifting across the ocean for days, which continent did their ship wash ashore on? Geographically, the answer aligns with the drift route. If this whole scenario is true, how the ship ended up in Africa, or the Amazon rainforest, doesn't matter too much anyway. The storm sweeps the ship south, running it aground on the shores of the isolated African jungle. Naturally, the king, queen, and their newborn try to survive in the wilderness. But the fairy tale doesn't have a happy ending here. The leopard attacks them in the heart of the jungle, and tragically, the king and queen lose their lives. The infant is then adopted by a female gorilla, becoming Tarzan. Is this theory just an inside joke from the director, or is there visual evidence? Let's dig deeper. The shipwreck in Frozen and the treehouse built by Tarzan's parents share strikingly similar structural elements. When you look closely at the animation art, the architectural details and woodwork inside the wreckage in Frozen closely mirror the treehouse his parents built in the jungle. Disney animators have a tradition of planting these hidden crossover connections. Speaking of the Pixar theory, yes, covering it might take some time, but if you guys show enough interest, let me know in the comments and I'll definitely make it happen. Let's move on to the next critical question. Could the famous leopard that killed Tarzan's parents actually be descended from a character in another Disney movie? This is where things get wild, because these cross-universe links often go beyond main characters to include secondary elements. Sable the leopard shares strong aesthetic and stylistic ties with other predatory animals across the Disney universe, but the main focus remains the genetic and chronological alignment among Anna, Elsa, and Tarzan. The timeline of the King and Queen setting sail in Frozen overlaps cleanly with the period Tarzan was an infant. Director Chris Buck explicitly said in an interview, Tarzan is Anna and Elsa's little brother, personally validating the theory. Of course, I also use AI tools for research, so validated might just mean it remains a fun headcanon to him too. Still, Elsa's ice magic and Anna's adventurous spirit coming from the same gene pool as Tarzan's incredible physical strength and agility makes sense. Don't be confused by the fact that Tarzan was released years before Frozen. In Frozen, the parents disappear years before the main plot takes place. So chronologically, it holds up whether it was planned in advance or retroactively tied together. What does this connection tell us? Why does Disney link its characters like this? When was the idea of unifying an entire studio's library into a single shared universe first considered? The answer lies in how the animation industry operates. Studios intentionally plant these Easter eggs to keep audiences engaged and fuel fan theories for years. Alternatively, all of this, especially the Pixar theory, could just be coincidental fan speculation, but once you dive into the details, the idea that it's purely accidental feels far less likely. How long did the King and Queen's secret voyage actually last? And why was their planned route kept classified? Their journey, hidden from the people of Arendelle, was driven by a matter of vital importance. Some theorists argue it wasn't just about finding a cure for Elsa's powers, but also about securing confidential trade alliances with neighboring kingdoms. Again, I want to be transparent. While I use AI to assist with research, these theories remain possibilities rather than hard facts. Returning to the narrative, the storm threw everything off course, dragging the surviving royals deep toward Africa or remote tropical lands. Let's summarize the timeline. Origin. The snowy northern kingdom of Arendelle loses its monarchs at sea, presumed dead by the audience. Journey. Surviving the storm, they drift southward, where the queen gives birth to a son. Tragedy. A leopard attack kills the parents in the jungle. Outcome. The infant is adopted by gorillas, growing up as Tarzan. Had Anna and Elsa known their brother was alive, would the storyline of Frozen have played out entirely differently? Undoubtedly. Elsa's isolation, her self-imposed exile, and the freezing of Arendelle would carry a very different weight. Had their parents returned safely, Tarzan would have grown up in a palace as an heir to the throne, though in that scenario, he wouldn't be the Tarzan we know today. Do these hidden lineages end with Tarzan and Frozen? Or do they reach even further? They likely go further. Take Ariel from The Little Mermaid, who explores shipwrecks for human artifacts. Could one of those sunken vessels actually be the royal ship from Frozen? The Disney universe is vast. This would imply Ariel's waters and the ports of Arendelle share the same global ocean. It's fascinating how these animated worlds offer deeper puzzle pieces beneath the surface. Every visual detail subtly hints at a larger narrative. To recap, we explored the proposed family tie between Tarzan, Anna, and Elsa, alongside the idea of their parents surviving the ocean crossing to reach Africa. This brings up another major question. Is the shipwreck explored by Ariel truly the vessel belonging to the King and Queen of Arendelle, or just fan fiction? In high-end animation, deliberate design choices are the norm. Major studios like Disney rarely reuse distinctive shipwreck models without intentional cross-referencing. My plan for this channel is to break down these individual Disney theories movie by movie, eventually building up to a comprehensive video on the Grand Pixar theory. Each video will act as a puzzle piece leading to the bigger picture. If there's enough demand for the Pixar theory sooner, I can adjust the schedule. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. Be sure to check out the other theory videos on the channel, hit subscribe, and like the video. See you in the next one.